folks. Welcome in Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV. I'm Dan Diker with Al Losi. Coming off another big race weekend at the Crosse Speedway. Had the Mid-American Series in, and what a show they put on.
Oh, they did. It was such a beautiful evening. Having the Mid-Am cars out there was just icing on the cake because the late models put on a great show as well, especially the finish.
Yeah, we're going to show you that here in a minute. We're going to start the program off by recapping last weekend's races at the Crosse Speedway. Not a finish that Steve Carlson wanted. It was probably one of the worst finishes he's had in quite a while at the racetrack, but it wasn't his fault. As we show you the final 3 laps right here, Matt Henderson actually was the lucky man at the end of this one here. The Honey Badger, Brent Kirshner, holding off the hard-charging Jay Herbst for about 4 or 5 laps here. And running third by himself was Steve Carlson. Right. Carlson was in the clear, as you see right here. And Carlson would have ended up with a top 3 finish. We bring out the white flag, and then we bring in lap traffic, and we all know what lap traffic can do towards the end of a race.
Yes, Dan, and it was so, when you see this coming up, it looked like the lap traffic was trying to get out of the way. It looked like he just kind of pinched it down a little too much, and there's the result, Dan.
Cole shows he spins out, tried to back it out of there. Carlson had nowhere to go. The result was a T-bone and a 17th place finish for Steve Carlson. That was a nasty right there when you look at the points wise. And Matt Henderson was in the right place at the right time. Matt ended up rounding out the top 3.
And we should mention that Matt Henderson did a great job. He led the first 14 laps, and he was pulling away.
Yeah, we had an early caution. We had Jimmy Crackhorn Gilster spinning out in the 78 car between the corners.
Yep.
And Matt knew right then and there that it was going to be a fight because he knew up on the scoreboard who was behind him. That was Kirshner. And that was Jay Herbst. So heading into this weekend's races, Brent Kirshner, now your current point leader in the late models. He leads Jay Herbst by 6, John Korsch by 15, Brad Powell, Sean Paff run at the top 5, rest of the top 10, Mike Carlson, Cole Howland, Matt Henderson, Bill Niles, and Harley Jankowski. On to the sportsman we go, the Mid-Am sportsman, that is. If you've never seen the Mid-Am cars, we're going to show you here in just a couple of moments. First couple of races, this was their 3rd race weekend, points-wise. And for James Swan, he's now won 2 out of the first 3 races. A young man that's currently running second is a rookie in the field who looks up to James Swan. As we see the big pile up right here. Matter of fact, out of all these cars, only 2 of them could not finish the race.
Yeah, there was a lot of spinning trying to avoid the event that happened there in turn 2. The Mid-Am cars, we're very familiar with them. They put on such a good show. James Swan wins a lot of races. What was really good was the local boys from West Salem here and on Alaska did such a great job.
Well, we're going to share the final couple here right here for Jimmy Gilster, or Danny Gilster, out of West Salem. Driving the number 23 car. He had problems all night long. He was really, really loose. Had a chance to try to take this race about midway through. It was struggling to keep second and third, drifted all the way back to 5th at one point, and then out of the blue came back hard charging. He was battling side by side for second again, and I think finished 3rd in this race here, but this night belonged to James Swan. And of course, Swan again, their current point leader for the Mid-Am Series. As you see Gilster running by there in 3rd, and he is your current Mid-Am point leader. Word has it this may become a regular trip to the Crosse Speedway year after year with the big hand wave right there with James Swan.
And Gilster had an excellent shot at winning this race. The problem is that I talked to him after the race. He was racing as if he was racing in the sportsman division, which is a hurry up and get to the front kind of thing.
Right.
He wore his tires out. He got them way too hot. He did back off trying to cool them off and hope for a caution so that they could cool off a little more. He did make another run at it, but like you said, it was just too late.
All right, so James Swan takes the Mid-Am race. Let's go to the sportsman, Grand National Sportsman. Of course, Danny Gilster, your track champ from last year, could not return to that class this year, but this was an exciting race as well. I always bug Randy Humfeld. He's got the most quick time qualifications of any driver in the sportsman's class over the past 3 years. He does at least 15, 16 times a season. But he can never get the feature win. And he always says, I don't know why I can't get the car to set up during a feature. Well, that was not the case this past weekend, as you're going to watch the drivers race around at the 5/8 mile. And this night it did belong to Randy Humfeld, being chased down there by Rick Schermerhorn and Brandon Berg. And Humfeld, no one was going to stop him here. We had some nice racing about midway through this one for 5th through 9th position. But back up front, well, you see Dummer taking 3rd, Schermerhorn, or 4th, Schermerhorn right behind Randy Humfeld. will pick up the win. He also picks up an 11-point lead heading into this weekend's races. He leads Matt England, Greg Scheck, Jake Arneson, and Rick Schermerhorn. That's your top 5. Rest of the top 10, Aaron Haas, Jared Logging, Brian Hesselberg, Bill Martin, and Steve Bachman. Thunderstocks were back out this past weekend as well. Had a nice 18-car field for the feature event. And a youngster is leading the points battle here as Tom Lethe out of West Salem, recently graduated out of West Salem High School. Did a nice job of running some race cars down here. The night belonged to Moore again. Andy Moore, just been phenomenal at that racetrack. He put up more on that quarter mile, and well, they're going to be sitting up front. Wayne Smith also had a nice night here, finishing third. Second as well, Chris Webber running at the top 3. 18-car field, one of the biggest ones we've had in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I was surprised. When I saw that number posted up there as the night started, it was really nice, and the racing was really good.
Yeah.
And you're right, Wayne Smith had a very good night. Moore had a very good night. It was just good racing.
Well, Tom Lethe is your current point leader now. The youngster out of West Salem has a 8-point cushion over Jordan Myers, and Dakota Miller is going to be 5 points back heading into next weekend's races. David Cavan runs on the top 5, followed by Wayne Smith, Jason Bolster, Mike Peters, Jason Scheller, and Jacinda Paff. Matter of fact, the brother of Dakota, I'm Not the Kid, Miller, is going to be our guest in the program today. We're going to bring on the Mega Monster and the Trunk Monkey. We've got Megan Urch and Caleb Miller both joining us in the studio today. Of course, that is Dakota's brother, and they've been racing out the Crosse Speedway, I want to say, as long as I've been here. I've had to put up with Caleb's antics down the pits. We'll talk about that when we come back from this break. This is Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV.